Hello, everyone. This is the voice of Wally King. I'm the Vice President of Marketing at Springboard Equity. And this is our fourth pitch event, Get Pitched. This time we're going to be featuring Andy Kohm of Vendop, the Yelp of manufacturing, with a deep background in medical device companies and with over 27 issued patents in his career and a history of taking over 19 products to market. We've got a great show for you today. He also is a winner of the French versus American Pitch Battleground. Today also we've added a new feature where you can tweet comments to us at Springboard Equity on Twitter with the symbol @SpringboardEquity using hashtag #GetPitched with an exclamation point at the end. Any questions or comments for the webinar for Andy, please enter them into the question box on the right, and he'll be responding to those in the QA session at the end of the event. It's going to be a 10-minute pitch once I hand it over to Andy, and there'll be a 5-minute QA. Any questions that aren't answered will be handled within 24 hours. He'll get back to you. We will take the questions first come, first served, so if you have questions come to mind during the event, before we get to the QA, please enter them there, and we'll be sure to get to those. Also, if you have any technological questions, you can enter those in the right as well, and our intern, Michelle, is going to go ahead and handle any of those. If you can't hear me speaking right now, well, you wouldn't know you couldn't hear me anyway. But if at any point you lose connection, just know that it's VoIP only, and if you're unable to get that connection back, there will be a replay sent out a few hours after the event. This is our this also marks our 10th company that we've had on the site in the last few months since we launched at the beginning of the year. And we have several more stacked up in the pipe with an upcoming partnership that we've created with Maxwell Financial Services, a new broker-dealer relationships that helps us take qualified deals to the next level, deals seeking anywhere from $2 to $50 million with 506C and Reg A Plus type offerings. We also, just on a heads up for mark your calendars, we have an upcoming educational webinar in the second week of August, again with Rocky's Venture Club, where they'll be speaking in more depth on the most popular topic from our last conversation with them on how to create a popular valuation and how to find deals with appropriate valuations if you're an investor. Make sure you get a chance to read that if you don't have time now. We'll have that in the replay. And without further ado, Andy Quinn. Andy, if you could unmute yourself.
There we go. Thanks, Wally. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Andy, CEO of Vendop. Next slide, please. So everyone knows that the lack of transparency hurts both buyers and suppliers during the purchasing cycle. What Vendop does is we remove this opaqueness in a way that no one else does. We have credible reviews written by professionals who have used the suppliers before. And what this does is it builds the initial trust that the suppliers that you're using are good. They are able to deliver on the promises that they provide. Next, please. So I'm the co-founder of Vendop, and we are the world's first and only review website for manufacturing. Our initial focus is on medical device manufacturing. And you might think to yourself that this has to be out there. It's pretty obvious. We've looked, we continue to look, and we've talked to many people. And I just Google search manufacturing reviews and most of our subcategories, and we still can't find anyone that is doing this. What Vendop allows our users to do is they're able to find manufacturers very quickly that provide the services that they're looking for. We have both search and browse options on our site. And once they find these manufacturers that they're looking for, they're able to compare them not only on hard skills, but also on soft skills. All of our reviews include a general review of the manufacturer, but they also include rooms to improve and their strengths. They also get rated on, did they deliver on time? Did they help you solve problems? Was their customer service good? All the key components that you're interested in when you're sourcing a vendor. And once people are able to find some vendors, they're able to start the vetting process. They're able to do this very quickly, as we all do in our personal lives, by seeing ratings and reviews. But our ratings and reviews are written by professionals just like them. They're able to see reviews from R&D professionals, manufacturing professionals, quality. They're able to really go granular into knowing where these reviews come from. And when they're finally ready, they're able to contact the vendors directly through our website. No need to go anywhere else, try to track down email addresses, fill out multiple forms, be able to do all the connections through us. Next, please. So the review process is our initial target. It's really the beginning part of the buying, supplying cycle. It's the discovery part. So you can see here, that's where we currently are. We think there's a large opportunity as we grow and we gain traction to move farther down the buyer-supplier relationships with having a vetting platform built into our site. So once you contact the vendors, you're also able to keep track of who you talk to, how you've rated them, and continue to have all of your information in one place. In addition, we can further move down the supply relationship with negotiations. We have seen a ton of deals that go through, and we know what's normal, what's not normal. So for these companies that really don't know if they're getting a good deal, we can help them out with that. And finally, really far down out in the future is we can help them with the ongoing management of both projects and their current suppliers. You can think of HP, who has all of these companies for all their different divisions, and they don't talk to each other. We can have a white label internal Vendop just for HP. Next, please. So why are we the people to do this? Well, like Wally said, I have a deep background in medical device R&D. The idea actually came from, unfortunately, seeing a lot of vendors, no matter how well we vetted them, that they would overpromise and underdeliver on it. We had to walk away from many projects, and the company wasted almost $1 million, if not more. I have an MBA from Wharton and a PhD in biomedical engineering. I've known my co-founder, David, who's the CTO, for over 8 years. He's been a software engineer at many prominent companies, as you can see here, Red Hat, eBay, Jakarta. Also, we have a couple really strong advisors. James Bergeron's been around the Silicon Valley for a while and does a lot of strategy and CEO consulting. And we also have Len Lodish, who is one of the top marketing professors at Wharton. Next, please. So we're going to start. We started our beta about 2 years ago. And the biggest problem with what we have, which is a two-sided marketplace, is the chicken and egg problem. So we've been able to begin to crack that, if not have solved it, where we have a fully operational and functional site where we have 33,000 reviews of these manufacturers. So when someone comes to our site, they have over 4,000 companies that have been reviewed, and that covers about 600 different manufacturing categories. Also, during this process, we found some very key differences between a consumer-focused review site and a business-to-business focused review site, and we filed 3 patents on those differences. Next, please. So the site, as I mentioned, is up and running, and our target audience is on medical device manufacturing. And we're seeing engineers from all of the key companies coming and using our site: Medtronic, Johnson & Johnson, Smith & Nephew, and we also see a lot of users from small startup companies. But also, naturally, we're focusing on medical device manufacturers, but if you have the certifications for creating medical devices, you can typically also do aerospace, automotive, and other products as well. So from this, we've seen Boeing come through our site, Flextronic, and one of the things that did surprise us, we see manufacturers who use our site to find partners to complete jobs with services that they do not have. Next slide, please. So most people that we talk to seem to think we're targeting the purchasing agents. Well, the purchasing agents are actually a very small portion of the vendor sourcing. Where most of the vendor sourcing actually occurs is on the engineering level. And our users show that. Over 55% of our users are at the engineering level. And they're also from the departments that you would expect them to be: R&D, manufacturing, operations. Next slide, please. So our plan is to continue our growth by four 4 channels. All of these channels are feedbacks to each other. The first is advertising. We are able to get AdWords for less than $1 per lead, which is very good in this instance. But also, as we grow, we're focusing on reducing the spend on advertising and really focusing on SEO. Once again, there's very low competition for the keywords we're going after. This market is very fragmented. And the third step is we have become social proof for our vendors. We're seeing the vendors themselves are putting links back to Vendop, back to Vendop on their website to have customers both read and write reviews. They're using us to close the deal and as independent testimonials. And finally, we are launching what we call Vendop Connect. I know we need a better name, but that's what we have for now, Vendop Connect. So you can kind of think of this as more of a networking portion. You can come to Vendop and add your own Rolodex of vendors that you've used before, and then invite your connections, colleagues, friends that you know, and you share who you've used. So you're building up your own private sourcing network on Vendop. Next, please. So all of these are reinforcing each other to get the flywheel turning where it starts to move by itself and not as much individual effort for us. We started with on the bottom right of obtaining the reviews of the suppliers. With the reviews, this increases your SEO. The SEO, people find Vendop and they can come in and start sourcing the suppliers. Once people are sourcing suppliers, the suppliers get engaged. And as the suppliers get engaged, the whole wheel cycle starts to move again. So as we grow and we continue to get this going, this circle just starts spinning faster and faster. Next slide, please. So what everyone always asks us is, how are we going to make our money? We don't want to invent anything new at the beginning, so we're going to where these manufacturers are already spending their money. They're spending their money having these enhanced profiles on what you can call online yellow pages. Every vendor is listed on our site for free. Anyone can add a vendor to our site, and no one can get off, even if they pay us. If they wish to be able to reply back to reviews or increase their description or add images, all which helps them with lead conversion, they have to upgrade to the Pro plan. If they want to put videos, get analytics about who is looking at them, and get their profile optimized for SEO both on our site and with Google, they have to upgrade to the premium plan. Next, please. So like I said, that is the first way that we're looking to generate revenue. But once we have both the buyers on our site, there's many other ways that we can also get revenue. Targeted ads inside the user feed. Native ads, which is now the hot topic, where it's a blog post, but it's sponsored by one of the companies. We can have verified reviews, where these are reviews we've actually talked to the people, and the users, once they find 2 or 3 companies they're interested in, they have to come and want to read the really good reviews. They have to upgrade or pay for it. And finally, lead generation. A lot of our leads that we get, they're okay with going out and getting competitive quotes. So even if they pick 2 or 3 companies, we can then go and find 4, 5, 6 companies that have the same type of ratings and same services, and we can sell those leads to those companies. Next slide, please. So how big is this market? It's huge. Manufacturing is a huge percentage of our GDP, and they're just finally moving online to do their marketing. Annually, the manufacturer industrial suppliers are spending $24 billion online for marketing. In our target audience alone, the medical device suppliers, that's $6 billion. Currently, this is 15% of the marketing budget, and it should only be going up. The estimation is this will become 50% of their marketing budget over the next few years. Next slide, please. So this is a old industry which hasn't changed in over a decade. I think the latest change has been with these ThomasNet has moved from a stack of catalogs that every engineer has on their bookshelf to a digital version of it, which you can now see online. So people are using these online yellow pages, very hard to navigate. no information about how good the vendors are. The RFQ websites are basically you put a request for quotes on this website, they throw it over the wall, and the companies most desperate for work bid on your site, bid on your work. Trade shows, that's been around. You go booth to booth in person, expensive for both the vendors and the attendees, and only happens every so often. So word of mouth currently is still the gold standard of finding a vendor. So Vendop solves by having credible word of mouth, but also the large selection of suppliers like the online websites do. Next slide. So currently, we are raising an $800,000 seed round. This is going to be really focused on growing Vendop and increasing our revenue. So with this money, within 1 year, we can become the largest medical device sourcing site that's out there. Currently, it is QMed. They get about 1 million visitors per year, and from that, from our estimates, they're able to generate $20 to $30 million in revenue. We are raising this round as an equity round, and we have already been in talks with many different investors, and we're hoping to be able to close this round by the end of August. Next slide. Well, I would like to thank you all for your time, and please reach out to me through Springboard as if you're interested or you have questions. Our site is live. Please go check it out. We love anyone's feedback on improvements, what you like, what you did not like. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Andy. Thanks for sharing the presentation. Great job. And we've got some QAs coming in. I'd like to open this up for everyone to ask QAs. Please go ahead and type in any questions you have. Feel free to ask whatever it is, and if we don't get to you in time, again, we'll have Andy follow up with you within 24 hours. I'm going to go ahead and get it started here with our first question. And if this sparks any thoughts, feel free to ask questions around this as well. First question is, many review websites like Yelp and Amazon have a problem with fake reviews. How do you address this on Vendop?
Oh, great. So this is one of the items that we actually have a patent around, is everyone who writes a review for our site has to log in or be verified using LinkedIn. Why we do this is with LinkedIn, we're able to see where they've worked before, what industries they work in, and how many connections they have. We're trying to use this as the initial source of vetting of the reviews. So if you work in a flower shop, you're not going to be able to do a review for a high-tech manufacturing firm because you probably don't have the expertise. But also, if you work at that company or you work for a competitor, we also don't want you to review the company. We've seen many companies trying to review themselves or their competitors, and this allows us to flag them automatically and do an investigation to make sure that they're credible reviews.
Okay, great. Thanks, Andy. Next question is there a cost for the buyer, and is access to full or best reviews limited to a person searching the site?
What was the second part of that question?
So first part is there a cost for the buyer? The second part is access to full or best reviews limited to a person searching the site? So can only a person search, can the best reviews only be seen by people searching the site?
Okay. Right now, our model is to have the site free to the buyer side. Any buyer can come in, use our site for finding reviews. Where we're going to go for our revenue is on the vendor side. They have the deeper pockets. A single new customer to them can be worth $10,000 to $1 million. So they really want to stand out and convert. So the buyer side, it's free. We want as many as we can, and also keeping it free increases our exposure in Google, because Google can see the whole site as well. So you can think of us more of a Yelp type model, which is free for everyone, versus Angie's List, which you had to be a member of to do your sourcing. Okay,
cool. And is there a cost for the buyer, or did you cover that?
There's no cost for buyers. Free. Everything's free.
Great. Next question is, will you offer a way for buyers to post RFPs for a true marketplace or way to connect buyers and suppliers directly?
Yes, we're looking into that. We're looking at having multiple ways of connecting the buyers and sellers and being able to post to multiple suppliers at the same time. Or if you do want to post a RFP, you can put that up there. We don't have that yet. We're starting with the sourcing in one direction, individual, and we'll move to that in the future.
Okay, great. All right, next one. Limiting to LinkedIn limits the potential customer base as many don't use it.
So
no,
okay.
Not done yet. No other way to log in. We see this with Facebook. Only log in for other sites. Did you get all that?
I did. So the LinkedIn portion currently is just the easy way for us to verify. So people you don't have to log into user site for sourcing. Anytime you add information to our site, or even to source a vendor and contact a vendor, only time you require LinkedIn is when someone is writing a review. And we make it so you don't have to use LinkedIn. You can write your review without it. But if you use LinkedIn, it makes it easier for us to verify that it's a real review. It's almost automated portion. If you don't use LinkedIn, we're going to have to find other ways to verify who you are to make sure you're not you don't work there. We'd rather have slightly less reviews if we know they're all real versus having the Yelp and Amazon problem where 30 to 40% of their reviews are fake.
Right. Good. Okay. Next question, and this is probably the last one until we have to wrap it up. But for those that didn't have a chance to get your question, please type them in, and Andy will get back to you later. So here we go. Great concept. It's like a free Angie's List for manufacturers. Do you have a checklist by which you compare or rate all manufacturers to make the review process standardized?
So a lot of times, what we do is we allow you to go into individual portions. So we haven't done a comparison to standardize. That's probably our next step, where you can pick 3 or 4 vendors and put them side-by-side comparisons. We rate them right now on star ratings. You have an overall, but you also have speed, price, and quality. So those are the 4 key characteristics that are very standardized with star ratings that you can see. Once you get past that, it's more of reading into the actual review to figure out if there's any what information people are doing. We're looking at doing some logistics where we pull out repeated phrases. Like we have some reviews out there where every review about this vendor says always 2 weeks late, always 2 weeks late, always 2 weeks late. So we're looking for ways to pull out that information from the text and putting it how I think Amazon does, where you can see some key characteristics of the vendor just from the text itself.
Cool. Okay. Well, thanks, Andy. We had a couple more come in, but we'll have you get back to those later. And you're welcome, Scott. Thank you for the kudos. He said great pitch and QA. Appreciate it. Again, I'm just going to reflect. Take a look at the website springboardequity.com. If you go into the Browse Companies deal there section there, you'll find Andy's deal under Vendop. He's got a lot of great content in there, very thorough, including some existing investor testimonials from previous rounds. And he'd be glad to get on the phone with any of you. There's several ways to reach him. You can either click the I'm interested button in there, or request deal docs, or connect a company, or you can email us directly at info@springboardequity.com, and we'll go ahead and connect you with Andy through email, and he'd be glad to jump on the phone at any time. So thanks again, everyone, and we really hope to see you on the next one, as well as the upcoming educational event with the Rockies Venture Club. It'll be a really, really good deal, very educational for entrepreneurs and investors, and we'll see you next time.